All right, you guys, thanks for joining us for our team building mastermind here in eXp Family Tree, but this is open discussion for everyone and anyone. And so I'm excited because Randy Wouters and I have this conversation on the regular with people who are considering eXp as an option for them to grow their business. And so today we get to just kind of talk to you guys about why this model, I think, can be so powerful for anybody who has influence, leadership, opportunities, skills, mindset, desires. And there isn't one way to do this. For that purpose, I think it makes it a great place for a lot of people to consider running their business, bringing over their team, or starting a team for the very first time. So Randy, just a quick intro again, if you don't mind, for those that are watching this that haven't met you yet.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Cari. Actually, I'm slightly more organized this time, and I have a slide deck.
Woohoo!
So last time it was a great conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to just like talk and go through some stuff. But since we were kind of recording this one, I was thinking that, it might be good to have a little visual to go along with it. So let me just go ahead and kind of share screens, and then I'll kind of introduce like myself and all that good stuff. So obviously today is about exploring the eXp Realty team models and the nuances. So just a little bit about myself, and if your Zoom window is kind of covering that up, which it might be, because I'm super clever like that. I put it on the side where the Zoom windows are. But so just a little bit about me. I'm over here in the Space Coast of Florida. So if anybody wants makes a trip down to a cruise, hit me up. We'll have some lunch at my favorite spot before you hit your cruise up. Okay, just go with me on that. Trust me, I know all the great spots here. So realtor, team leader, national consultant, and we've helped tons of agents over here at Randy Explains. And by the way, Randy Explains is not just me. It's also my managing partner, Cynthia LaChance, who was on eXp staff as well. And so, yeah, my previous staff role was the growth operations manager of the US. And, kind of in that role was, I'd have to be a teams expert and help broker owners, team leaders, large influencers come over and understand really what it meant to be on a team, to have a team here at eXp, and all of the math that surrounds that. So, as we kind of dive into this, I'm coming from a place of, I don't want to say authority, but, a knowledge and expertise in this area, because this is what we've done for the last few years as my role and my job. So, so hopefully this is really helpful. And if you're watching this, feel free to take some notes. We'll also provide this slide deck as a freebie to say, thanks, Family Tree. You guys are awesome. And by the way, I'm a member of Family Tree as well. And I think that it's really important that people understand that there are so many agents here at eXp Realty that are willing to give, serve others, collaborate at the highest levels possible. And I absolutely adore people like Cari and Rich and Elizabeth and Mitch, and just the people who contribute, and Hank, and people who just give of themselves, not really looking for anything in return, just saying, hey, agents, we have a lot to offer, and we'd love for you to be a part of that. Okay. So I come from that same mentality. Okay, so let's talk today's objective. And by the way, Cari, I have the live kind of showing in a different on a different monitor, and it looks like a totally black screen. And I'm not sure if that's just my view or if it is not sharing the actual deck. And I don't know if anybody else sees it like that, but if you see a totally black screen,
let me know. Somebody chat in the chat box. Maybe it's just yours, but let me see if I can find it too while you're talking.
Yeah, I just hate for it to, we get an hour into it and there's just nothing.
Nothing there.
Yeah. So if you're in the Zoom, you can probably see it. What I'm talking about is on the live stream on Workplace.
I'll take a peek. I can't see it on mine, but I think I can try on my phone, and I'm just going to ask. Oh, yep. Tara said I can see. I see.
Okay. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, today's objective, we're going to go through the 3 different eXp Realty team types +1 bonus alternative option. And we're going to talk about similarities, differences, long-term versus short-term benefits of each. Okay. So perfect. See the little chat now. So number one, of course, and kind of the black sheep of the family, if you think about it, the self-organized team. Everybody's heard of the standard team. That's probably the most common. And then of course the mega icon team, but the self-organized team doesn't get a whole lot of love. And I'm not sure why exactly. And what we're going to do is when I finish talking about all the different team types, I'll then tell you, because the title of this is like which to choose, I'll then give you my opinion. Okay. But let me just go through on all the different team types. The first one, of course, self-organized team. I guess the reason it's first is that there's no minimum production requirements. You don't have to have a track record as a team leader. You don't have to have a ton of production in order to start a self-organized team. And so some people think that makes this an inferior team type because there's no production requirements. But hopefully by the end of this, you'll see that that's contrary to the actual. Okay. So what I love about it, there's no geographic restrictions. Okay. There's a few states in the 50 states that won't allow you to be a team leader if you're not licensed in that state. But most of the states, you can actually be a team leader and not even have a license there. Right? That should blow your mind. So no minimum splits to the team members. Oops, that should say team leaders. I'll have to edit that slide. So note to yourself, no minimum split to the team leader. So in the other team types, which we'll talk about, there has to be a 25% minimum to the team leader. Okay. Everybody has a $16,000 cap. And some people might say, well, that's not really much of a team. And I would say, hang on, let's hear us out on this one. Okay. Yes, everybody has a $16,000 cap, but also everybody has the same opportunity. And when we're talking about eXp Realty, the reason that we should come to eXp Realty is the opportunity. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Team agreement does not have to get reported to eXp Realty. And some people, don't mind that their team agreement is at eXp, which is awesome. It's fine. But this gives you pretty much the flexibility to have whatever you want on your team agreement within reason and within ethics and morals, of course. But the idea is that you can put a few more things in. I'm happy to share my own team agreement. I won't do it on this call, but if somebody wants a copy, we can absolutely arrange that and send you a copy of a template that I've made to help people kind of explore what it is to be a team leader and have that team leader agreement or that team member agreement. Branding is, of course, team branding on a self-organized team. The reason I added that in here, because it seems to be a source of like confusion. I think some people think self-organized means that it's not a legit team. And that is far from the truth. In fact, as far as your state and local laws and regulations, if you're calling yourself a group or a team, you in fact have to meet those minimum standards for branding as a team in real estate. And there are every state's got their own little nuances when it comes to team branding, but just so you have to brand as a team. You can't just have everybody go out and do their own branding in this particular case. Okay. So keep that in mind. Let's roll into number 2, standard team. This is the most popular team that pretty much when people talk about teams, they just automatically go straight to standard team. Okay. There is a minimum production requirement. It's 6 million or 30 units in the last 12 months, LTM, last 12 months. The idea here is this could be the team leader and or agents that they're bringing on that have this aggregate total. Now, 6 million is not too terribly high. I mean, a single agent could do the 6 million, 30 units on their own, right? But I think what's cool about it being so kind of like modest, it's not super high, is that they're giving this opportunity to a lot of people to be able to do the standard team. Okay. So that's one of the benefits of this, is that it has a low production requirement. Geographic restrictions are limited to your marketing territory. And there might be somebody watching this that says, I don't know about that, Randy. And I would say, well, you should probably read into this a little bit more, because yes, if you can't market in an area and you're not developing leads in an area and you're not actually in an MLS, that you're saying your team is in, then you like, that is the size of your team. Like, you couldn't market to an MLS that you're not in and call yourself a team in that area. There are some rules and restrictions per state when it comes to this. The idea, though, is if you can get an agent who has that MLS, then yes, great. You are automatically in that MLS, and you're in that area, and you can market to that territory as your team. And so limitations kind of get broken down a little bit when it comes to that. But just keep in mind that there are some different rules per state. I know, like I'm down here in Florida, you would want to have an agent in an MLS before you start marketing in that MLS, unless because your first set of marketing would be, hey, I'm looking to hire an agent in this, MLS type of thing. 25% minimum split to the team leader on every deal. That's part of, this particular benefit process here, that each team member gets an $8,000 cap. Okay. So because of that, we want to make sure you're providing the value as a team leader, and therefore able to charge at least 25% minimum on every deal. Okay. Team agreement is with eXp Realty, mainly because of that reduced $8,000 cap. And I can tell you, because I used to sign all of these team agreements and review them, that they are really looking for that 25% minimum. Okay. And so if somebody tries to sneak in a 10 or a 15%, it's not going to get approved, and it's not going to get signed. So just keep that in mind. Team agreements with eXp Realty. Branding is team branding, just like the self-organized team. Number 3. So question before I get into number 3. We had a question in the chat. Can you have a self-organized team and a standard team? So good question. It's actually going to be a standard team, and I'll tell you why. Even if you have an agent that would like a full $16,000 cap, we have what's called a full cap elective. So like if you have a standard team, majority of agents will be on an $8,000 cap. If you have a couple of agents and they're like, I really want my own icon award, great. They can elect to have a full cap elective, in essence, creating an alternate team type within the standard team, sort of like having those couple of team members as a self-organized. The difference, though, is that, again, they're going to have to sign the full cap elective, and they would still have the team agreement with eXp Realty. Okay. All right. So hopefully that answers that question. Yep. Cool. All right. And by the way, just before I keep going, I am looking at the live in Workplace, and it totally looks black. So I'm hoping that it's still working. And everything's good there. Number 3, mega icon team. So mega icon team is the highest tier if we're looking at it in terms of like production requirements. The minimum production requirement is 40 million and 175 units, not or. So you'll notice back on the previous screen that it's 6 million or 30. It's an or situation. Okay, cool. Thank you, Angie. You're awesome. All right. But the mega icon team is both and, right? It's not either or. So it's 40 million and 170 units minimum last 12 months. The biggest difference, though, is that you have to have 10 team members minimum. Okay. And we're going to talk about why here in just a second. So team leader plus 10 team members, not 10 total, but leader plus 10. Okay. Now, there are some geographic restrictions when it comes to this. And obviously, it's limited to marketing territory. But if you have, let's say, an expansion mega icon team that's more than 100 miles, that's sort of the designation, then you have to actually have a satellite team leader in that other location. So if you've got one in, I don't know, Georgia and Florida, and it's more than 100 miles away, you've got to have a satellite team leader. Now, the satellite team leader has an $8,000 cap, not the $4,000 cap, and not the $16,000 cap. Now, could they do a full cap elective at this point? They could. Okay. So there's some nitty gritty details when it comes down to this stuff. And I'm happy to go like one-on-one in depth if somebody really wants to dig into this. But the idea here is that we're giving, I still talk like I'm eXp. eXp is giving $4,000 caps, which means we want to make sure the value is there for those team members because we're giving such a reduced cap to them. So that's why the satellite team leader must be in place, okay, and named and all that good stuff. All right, there's a 25% minimum split to the team leader on every deal. We talked about the $4,000 cap instead of 16. Now, you might ask, could there be a full cap elective for a Mega Icon team member? Yes, there can. Okay, so they could pay the full 16 if they want to get their own Icon award, based on a crazy amount of deals. But keep in mind, it's a little trickier to get Icon when you're a team member because you're splitting a quarter of your deal with the team leader. And the post capping transaction fees are actually also split according to that same team split. So whatever that team split is, for example, post capping would be $250 transaction fee. And so you would be paying 75% of that, not the whole thing, right? And the team leader would pay 25% of that. Now, here's a question. Again, I'm getting into the weeds here a little bit, but the idea is when you're on the $4,000 cap and you are on a Mega Icon team, instead of going to the $250 cap transaction fee, you actually drop straight to the $75 cap transaction fee. So that's a pretty good savings on every deal after capping. Now, going back to this full cap elective person, unfortunately, you will not drop to the $75 post cap transaction. You would actually still go to the $250, then the $75, because the whole objective is you're trying to reach Icon. Okay. And again, we can get into that if you want to go one-on-one. Team agreement is with eXp Realty. Again, the standard team and Mega Icon team, they do require their team agreement in-house. Okay. And eXp has to sign off on it and all that stuff. Now, here's a big kicker, and this is the biggest difference for the Mega Icon team versus any other team type, is that the team leader is actually required to meet the $56,000 minimum with aggregate team total, right? It has to be $56,000. And 16 of that would come from the team leader, and then 40,000 amongst the team. So if you have exactly 10 team members, each of them would have to cap at 4,000 to reach 40,000. But what if you have 20 team members? Do they each have to reach 4,000? No. If they were all at least 2,000, then you've reached your 40,000 and you're good. You've reached the 56 and you're good to go and you're good. Now, if you do fall short and like you take the risk and you're sort of on the edge and you're not sure if you're going to make it, if you fall short, the team leader must pay the difference between the 56. Okay. So let's say you're $6,000 short. You only paid in 50,000. The team leader is going to have to cut a check. Yeah, it's literally, here you go. Here's the check. And painful, but the MIT designation is lost for that next year, which means you drop to the standard team. Everybody goes to $8,000 caps. Okay, so it's a little bit of like a, I guess, penalty. We don't like to call it that, but essentially you said you would do, X minimum, and we have high standards that have to be met to call yourself a Mega Icon team. So sort of comforting to know that like, hey, we don't have any false Mega Icon teams here at eXp. Like you either are or you're not, and it's kind of black and white in that regard. Okay. So, and again, last bullet there is branding is team branding as well, just like the other teams. All right. I'm going to talk about one other alternative. This is sort of a bonus. And then we can go into sort of kind of preferences and stuff. So what if you didn't really want to manage the day-to-day operations of a team, but you still have leadership qualities and you have a lot of leads, and maybe you love doing trainings, and I don't know, you still exhibit a lot of the team leader attributes, but you're not looking to do formalized team. So this is something that a handful of groups that I know personally do, and I have a version of this for myself as well. So a referral group, it's not a team, it's just a group of agents who agree on referrals, receiving referrals from you. So what that looks like is there's no minimum production requirements because you're just handing out referrals. There's no geographic restrictions because you're just, again, handing out referrals. There's no minimum splits because you get to decide what your referral split is every time. Everybody is on their own $16,000 cap because they're all individual agents, right? They're not even on a team. Referral agreement does not get reported to eXp Realty other than the submission on the deal itself to say, hey, this is a referral agreement. This person gets X% or whatever. Okay. Now, little caveat is I actually prefer, and so I have a master referral agreement, and it's good for 1 year. And when I get an agent to jump onto my referral group, I have them sign this master referral agreement for the year. And by the way, if you want a copy of that, I have a template for you as well. But the master referral agreement, you can come up with whatever you want for these. You can even do bonus structure. If they close X number of deals, you can move up on percentages or volume or units or whatever you want to do it, right? It's variable. It's completely up to you. You could even do it where the first 3 deals of the year are no split, just because you want it to see them happy and producing. It just depends on what you're doing. Branding is individual because it's not a team. So they're all doing their own thing and their own branding, and you're encouraging and you're coaching and you're mentoring and all that stuff. Back to the whole point of it is that you're not actually managing a team. You're just managing the leads and offering to coach the agents, right? Because why wouldn't you? Because the more you coach them, the more they close and the happier everybody is. So the reason I even mention this is because I think so many people think that the only way to get leverage into your life is to build a team. And listen, I have a team. I love teams. I'm not saying don't form a team. I'm just saying open your mind to all the other possibilities that could exist. And you may not be the person who loves dealing with the day-to-day operations of other people. So save yourself and those agents the headache and don't, right? So again, trying to get some creativity and just the idea that there is so many possibilities here at eXp. And by the way, you may not know this, but KV Core is actually set up so brilliantly for you. Even as an individual KV Core, you can share a contact with anyone at eXp that has KV Core anywhere in the country. And you can share with view and edit access, which means you can see what's happening in the lead. Okay. If you can see everything going on in the lead, you can tell this agent's not working this lead, or this agent's killing it. They're doing a great job with the lead. That's sort of like kind of being a little mini team leader in essence, because you can see what's going on in that lead. So I just want you to know that actually exists right now in your current KV Core. You don't have to add anything separate or special. In fact,
it's included here for your monthly payment.
Exactly. And in fact, I argue with people, not arguing but I don't get mad at them. I'm just like, hey, did you know you can run a small team without buying the team version of KV Core? Okay. If you're okay assigning leads, which is honestly, if you've got a small team, I'd say less than 6 or 8 people, it's not hard to assign some leads to folks manually. Okay. And when I say manual, I'm talking 15 to 20 seconds, I guess. You're not talking like some laborious job here. So think through that. And when you're building a team, if you want to get the most out of KV Core as a single, you can visit my group website if you want. realestatebyrw.com is my single agent site that I made look like a group. Okay. So I'm running a small team off of a single agent site without paying any extra overhead. So, okay. I know I just threw a ton at you guys. I would love to help anybody with that. And this is not I don't just go in places to plug myself, but if people really truly want help, and they want to understand the nuances and steps, it's kind of what I do for a living now. That's what I do. Understand the math, understand your team agreements, master referral agreements, operating in systems, running behind your team, lead flow models, distribution, utilizing eXp. So if you need help, that's my whole pitch. If you want to call me, great. Go to randyexplains.com. Other than that, let's do some Q&A.
Yeah, let's talk for a minute. I'm going to bring some Q&A in, but Randy, I want to kind of bring this all together because as I'm talking to people across the country, I would say the majority of producing real estate agents don't actually want to do a traditional team. They've tried it. They don't enjoy it. They don't like the management of it. They love selling real estate. They've got great experience. They're influential. That's why they're a great real estate agent. They have great relationships. Some of them are great mentors. Some of them like to help newer agents.
Yep.
They like to use their experience in those ways. They know how to get business. They might not want to work with all of the clients because they are trying to find some leverage. And this can solve all of those problems. And it can actually create an opportunity for you to use your strengths and to do what you enjoy. One of the main reasons why real estate team leaders struggle with retention, recruiting, growth, it's not because they're not smart and they don't know what to do. It's because they actually don't enjoy what they're doing on a day-to-day, and they're trying to put a round peg in a square hole, vice versa, square peg in a round hole. Yeah. They're trying to force themselves to be someone they're not because they think it's the only way that they can do it. I mean, people were paying me a lot of money to coach them to figure out how to build a real estate team in a way that they would actually have success. And there really was no solution, because it wasn't that they couldn't have success or they weren't talented or they didn't know what to do. It just really wasn't in alignment with who they were and what they wanted to do. And when you don't want to do something and you don't wake up every single day excited and energized, and you're not using your strengths, and you're forcing yourself to be someone or do things that really don't bring you joy, you tend to not have success. Yeah. So this gets exciting for me because I've seen people become mentors and build an entire platform, local team, if you want, or collaborative group just surrounding themselves with agents that want to be mentored by them, handing off all their buyer leads so they don't have to run around and chase buyers anymore, give the opportunity to someone else, succeed through them, succeed through revenue share, stay in their strength zone, and not have the headaches, the expense, etc. I've seen people go build a network around the whole country of like-minded people that just want to partner with them at eXp. Do not expect anything from them, but they might do a monthly call, just get a mastermind going, some little bit of collaboration, and they create a network across the country, a referral network, and they can use their KV core system to do this. I was just talking with somebody yesterday who gave out got paid on 130 referrals. Think about the leverage and the opportunity that you get when that happens, but also think about the opportunities that you're providing to other people. These are very unique ways that someone could come into eXp and literally design their business around not only their desired life, but around their strengths and their skills. And I'm going to mute myself because I have a puppy barking. Thoughts on that? People are doing
100%. Yeah. So Cari, you're dead on. So, my objective in the first slide was we were going to talk about the long-term versus short-term benefits. And I want to hit on that now. So if you think about what you're building, right, and what you're strategizing for the exit strategy and long-term, the beauty of eXp, in my opinion, is that we have revenue share and that long-term benefit, right? And so when people succeed that we've brought in, and we succeed, right? It's a win-win. And so if we can help them get going and get launched, one of the things that I think is so rare is that at eXp, we can actually celebrate when somebody launches from our team, and we can actually encourage them to go get some leadership skills and start their own team or their own referral group and cheer them on the whole way. And it's not a lost not like a lost team member. Oh no, cry, I just lost my best team member. It should be celebrated because now we're building leaders. And the secret sauce at eXp, and I've heard this so many different times in different ways, the secret sauce at eXp is that you get a chance now to build leaders. And would you rather be a team leader of team members or a team leader of team leaders, right? So if you think about it long-term, what's the best structure? And I told you I would give you my opinion. What's the best structure in order to get to point B sooner? Is it to create team members that rely so heavily on you that they fail to launch? Or is it to build leaders as fast as humanly possible, to launch from your team as fast as possible, who are showing signs of independence, signs of, they're inspired, they're motivated, they're driven. If you can build into people that way, you will find that a standard and mega icon team may not best fit that mentality. And the reason is because when you put somebody on the $8,000 or $4,000 cap, is it a short-term savings? Yes. Does it put their reliance on you? Yes, 100%, right? Because you're the team leader, and when they leave you as a team member, now they've got to go, oh, I got to go pay a lot more on my cap. So I would think through the psychology of the long-term play. And if you're starting a team from scratch, it's a lot easier to start it with the full 16 than it is to kind of revert back. And I've counseled lots of team leaders who are starting their teams. Think through this long term. Don't just think 1 or 2 years or 3 years. 5 to 10 years down the road, do you want to have to overhaul everything you've got going on? Because really, if you want to keep the employee mentality, and please don't hear me wrong, if you're on a team and you're on an $8,000 or $4,000 cap and you don't feel like an employee, then awesome. Your team leader is amazing. But I would say most of the time people tend to lean towards, I'm the boss, you're my employee, if it's some sort of like old school traditional team, right? So that is one of the reasons that for instance, by the way, I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but a couple of things I've learned from watching others is if you bring your team members on and instead of calling them team members, call them partners. This is my partner. This is somebody I'm building in, I'm pouring into, I'm investing in because I want them to become a leader. I'm trying to remove the stigma that you feel like you have to work for somebody to be successful. I want you to get everything you can out of me, but then I want you to rotate off the team and become a team leader yourself one day. And maybe that's 3, 4, 5, 10 years away, but I know you can do it. And I want to pour into you to do that. So again, long-term psychology versus the short-term win. So think through that as you're setting up your team. And then of course, something else I hadn't mentioned, when we're talking about the referral group, think about the referral group in a different way. It actually doesn't even have to be just eXp agents. I don't know if that's mind-blowing or not, but think about that. You could essentially create a master referral agreement with any agent at any brokerage anywhere in the country. How cool would it be to do agent attraction through lead generation? If I can give you steady flow of leads, eventually I'll have you in my, on my Zoom so many times that I'll have enough, I think, influence on you to help you think through eXp as a potential option for brokerage. So the referral group could be bigger than just the agents that you brought on to eXp. It could also be an extended network of agents that are in pretty much any brokerage and used sort of as agent attraction. And maybe the leads cap out if they're not at the brokerage. Maybe you come up with some strategies there. But think through and be creative. That's one of the coolest things about eXp and the scariest. There's so much room for creativity that never existed before. The traditional model is not built like this. It's not built for creativity. It's built for structure and rigidity and retention. And I know Cari has been kind of running with that, dog recently, hey, the difference between retention and liberation. And we talked about that recently. And Cari and I have been on many calls talking about that. We want to liberate as many agents as possible. We want to train them up, coach them, mentor them, and ship them out. And say a little prayer for them so we can, be in their life and be encouraging throughout that process, not just somebody who launches and becomes a competitor, because it's not what it should be.
I mean, and by the way, if you have a traditional team, there's nothing wrong with you when you feel stressed out to retain, because you are building an entire platform. You're spending money banking on income that is needing to come from the people that you've partnered with. That's what the team has created. That's what the traditional team has created. So it is a very high stress situation. It is a very emotional process for team leaders. I talked to more than one team leader off the, proverbial, ledge because of pouring into people and then having those people leave. in it for a lot of reasons, because there is an emotional and a relational component, because they are going to be now become your competitor, which is a whole another thought process, but also because you have a lot of financial investment that you're providing to those people. And then when they leave, you have to replace that. So you're constantly having to think about replacing people, and it's an exhausting hamster wheel to be on. So what I love about it is you can come into the conversation with your agent that is joining your traditional team, and you can say, guess what, Violet, I know this is going to be a great fit for you right now because you want everything the team has to offer you, but I just want to set the stage for what our future together can look like. And that is, whenever you're ready, I want you to go and build your own thing and brand yourself and build your own team and do anything that you want to do whenever you feel the time is right. You don't need or want to be part of this traditional team anymore. You do not have to. And in fact, I want you to tell me when you're ready, because I'm going to be there being your biggest cheerleader, supporting you no matter what. Because in this model of eXp Realty, this is what it creates. It creates an opportunity for us to be in partnership in a lot of different ways. So we actually have some team leaders who are building a traditional team as almost like a boot camp or a training ground, so to speak. So if somebody wanted to bring newer agents in, or agents that just weren't really good at systems or wanted a little bit more support, and we had that available to them, awesome. Let's bring them in and let's encourage them and show them what the future can look like. But then let's say when you're ready, we're going to, like, the expectation is this is limited time, that we're going to do it this way, because I don't truly believe it is a true win-win. And I know what's going to be a win-win, but I also know that there are people at different times in their business and their career and their life that they need a little bit more support and want to be on this team. So this is how we're going to create that. Now, when people leave the traditional team, but you're still close, you're still working together, but they're not taking advantage of everything the traditional team has anymore. Therefore, they don't get the reduced cap, the splits are not the same. That does not mean that you can't still collaborate with them, co-list a property with them, refer your buyers to them for a referral fee. You can do anything that you want to. And so I actually want to say, Randy, one of the things that I think is one of the most interesting things that someone can do is to take the self-organized idea and the traditional team idea and kind of merge the two together and go into their market and crush it, because nobody else is doing it. If you're in an area where eXp is not super prevalent, or there aren't a lot of this sort of team, this is your opportunity to go appeal to people who want what the team has in regards to collaboration, shared resources, support when they're on vacation, a family feel, all the things people say they love about a real estate team. By the way, it's what they say they love about a real estate brokerage too. What they don't like about a team is splitting 50-50 on every transaction, or having to be micromanaged on certain things, forced to use certain systems, feeling a little bit like employee-employer relationship. So if we take away what people don't like and we add in the things they do like, and then we give them an opportunity to maybe share some leads, share some resources, some office space, and they only have to pay a split on the transactions we help them get. They get to keep almost all, if not all, of their own personal transactions. It is a very, very interesting hybrid that some people have had massive success with. Because wouldn't you rather have a collaborative team of 20 people that love to help each other, service each other, work together? You guys know we all are going to achieve more if we collaborate together. If we've got 20 people out there with buyer needs and listings and we're all sharing each other's, we're going to get more business because of that. We're going to have more open house opportunities. The newer agents are probably going to have more opportunities to do showings and make money and learn from the more experienced people. So the larger the group, in my opinion, is better. And we're going to be more likely to go get more people if we aren't putting them in the box of the traditional team of the 50-50 split or whatever the number is. But in order for it to be profitable, usually it has to hover around that number for the team leader if they're really going to provide that resource. So what if we think differently? What if we combine these two together and we just become the leader to go find really cool people that the team wasn't right for them, but they don't like being on an island on their own? Let's bring those people together with a vision, and let's find opportunities to work together to save money and shared resources and to make money from each other's opportunities. This to me is an opportunity that every single person can run with in any market, no matter their experience in team building, because all you're doing is just being a person that can gather people together and lead a vision And then remember, the culture is created by the people that you're in partnership with. So you aren't responsible for everything once you partner with people. The group is going to become responsible of how they work together over time. And that is actually a really freeing leadership opportunity versus one that makes you feel so overwhelmed, so responsible, and encumbered really with a lot of stress and responsibility that isn't in alignment with who you are as a human being.
Absolutely. And to add another layer of complexity to this, because why not? You could technically have 4 groups at the same time. And let me kind of explain. You could choose standard team or mega if you qualify. And on that standard team, you could have a full cap elective person, which would be essentially a self-organized, which is what we're talking about, right? Because you don't have to charge them the minimum 25 anymore because they're on a full cap elective. So that's sort of 2 teams right there. Then you could also have your referral network and your referral group, locally or extended and nationally. Actually, it could go as far as you wanted to. So that's like 3 groups. Then you've got this revenue share organization that can be in all 50 states or countries, right? International. And so theoretically, yes, you could actually be the leader of 4 types at the same exact time. Now, you would have to choose between standard or mega icon team, but the other ones wouldn't have to be necessarily a choose between. It can be a hybrid of several things, like Cari was saying. I personally choose, so I have 3 of those. I have a self-organized team, and I have a referral network here local, and then I also have an extended revenue share group that I do send referrals to sometimes that are more of like nationwide. And I think today I'm in 18 or 19 countries with that. Not countries, I'm sorry, states. That would be amazing if it was countries. One day that'll happen. But the idea is, again, back to this creativity thing. It's the power is in your hands to create your exit strategy. And I think if you're not thinking exit strategy from day one, then you're probably you're gonna have some pain points along the way to the exit strategy. So do what I do, which is reverse engineer the exit strategy. Where do you want to be? Where are you now? What's the best vehicle and model to get you there as soon as possible? Barry said, stick to states. Yes, thank you. I'll stick to the states. No, I'm coming for you. You said matey, so I'm thinking Aussie. I'm thinking Australia, but I'd love to be in Australia. Anyway, so this conversation can get really, in fact, Cari and I have had many deep conversations about team structures. Team theory in general is, it's just really interesting topic. It can go really deep. It can go so creative, and everybody that comes into this model with their own experiences and their toolbox of skill sets adds another complexity to and more creativity to what we're doing here. We didn't even talk about all the different ways to partner with investors and people who are not even licensed that sort of can be on your team. That's a whole different topic for another day, but get creative and think outside the box. This model was designed for you to win. Okay. There's lots of ways to win, but it was definitely designed for you to win. Okay. So that's going to wrap it up for me. And I don't know if our time is kind of coming towards the end, but
absolutely. Thank you, Randy, for everything. I just want to give a quick plug out there because I was just texting with somebody and they were saying, I have a team and who do I talk to about the financials? And I said, just go to Randy Explains. I swear I tell people about Randy all the time, although I have to be cautious because then I can't find my time slots. And I'm just kidding. I actually take Randy's time slot at least 2 a week. So I got to make sure I'm not referring too much business that I get boxed out here because I'm just kidding. But really, I mean, here's the deal. You are not supposed to be the expert on the financials. You don't know, you don't have the pro formas, you didn't work for corporate, you're not Randy, and you should be the person that's there to be the person that they like and trust to help them. And then you remember, you don't have to be the creator of things. You just need to be able to point them in the right direction and be on those calls and be there for support and learn from those calls, because you will learn a ton from the calls. But it's really something that provides them an opportunity to do their due diligence with someone who is an expert in this area, who may most likely isn't even in your upline, so really doesn't have a vested interest if they join or not, which makes it feel very non-threatening and very much an educational meeting. They have to know the numbers in order to make the decision. You guys can't have a team leader that just talks a little bit with you and you give them the basics and then think that they're just going to make the decision to move. There are too many questions. They need some sort of apples to oranges comparison, and they need to understand what this model looks like for them. So make sure that you take the time to do that. Go to randyexplains.com. You can also find people within, of course, eXp Corporate. Reach out to Rich or myself if you're an eXp Family Tree. There's a lot of options, but Randy has his calendar out there so you can schedule. It's very easy. You're getting to know him here in eXp Family Tree because he's contributing so that you know, like, and trust him. But I can give a personal testimonial that we've had just some amazing calls. It has definitely helped me bring producers and leaders over to this company that I love and trust and wanted to be in business with, but I knew I couldn't give them all of those answers because it's not my area of expertise. However, I have become extremely educated in this process. And that is what I would say to you all, is that when you put yourself in the positions to have these conversations and be present for them, you become very educated and you feel a lot more confident in your conversations with people as well. Remember, competence equals confidence. And so if you're feeling a little bit, a lack of confidence in your conversations, it could be that you're not competent enough. So putting yourselves in these positions can help you be more competent.
Can I just add, even if you don't call me and you don't jump on my calendar, I highly recommend that you always bring in a third party for that third party validation, and to just kind of edify that person, the prospect, and then give a different perspective. Like I said, in fact, you don't have to call me every time, you don't have to book on my calendar, but if you do want the pro formas, you do want, full financial analysis, happy to help in any way that I can. So another thing that's really cool about Family Tree is there's hundreds of people probably that will jump on that call with you.
Yes.
Obviously they all have different strengths and weaknesses, but it's just, you don't have to go about it alone, I guess is my point. So absolutely pleasure being here, Cari, as always. Look forward to the next deep team theory conversation. And then I'm going to provide that slide deck to you. And so if anybody wants it, or how should we do this? Where do you want them to email me or you, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter what we can do. I don't know. Can we put this in eXp Family Tree, the slide deck, as a file underneath? If not, then why don't we just have you email Randy for the slide deck if you want it, but the recording, you can just reach out to either of us. You can find us on Work Chat and we can certainly get it to you. I'm going to get the recording to Randy so he has it. I'll have it. It's obviously live streamed right here in eXp Family Tree, so you can go back and watch it here as well. But whatever you want to do, Randy, I'm open. Yeah,
I tell you what, I'm going to drop the file into the live recording of Workplace, but then also if anybody wants more information, and I mentioned it, I'm happy to give away my team agreement template and also my master referral templates. Obviously, I don't give that to everybody, but people in Family Tree, guys, I want to collaborate. I want to be, I want to help as much as I can. So if you want that, just shoot me a message on my Workplace chat. I love Workplace chat, and I'm always in there. So don't send me an email, actually. And I've just thought about it. Don't send me emails. There's hundreds of emails sitting in there.
Just a work chat.
Workplace, please. Yes, please, Workplace chat. And then I can just drop the file in there and we'll be good to go. Okay.
Awesome. That sounds great. So look at eXp Family Tree for the live stream. You'll see what you need. And if you need anything else, Work Chat, Randy Wouters or Cari Briner, we're here to help you. This is a really great conversation. If you know somebody who's running a team, has a brokerage, is struggling, wants to do a team, and you've just I need to articulate this to them, just let us know. We'll get you the recording and you can send it off to somebody that could find value in it. So thanks so much, you guys. And thanks again for your time, Randy. Have a great day. Awesome. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.